he really is feeling we've got it far more than we feel we've got it. That it really is in our hands. Last year was the first sort of year of real creation. Now we're in fully creative fire mode, where the universe is sizzling and fizzling with potential.
Welcome to the Reality Revolution. My guest today has spent nearly 2 decades as a bridge between worlds. She's a channel and energy worker from the UK who brings through a being called Zach, a high vibrational presence she describes as an aspect of an ascended master, a Tibetan master whose transmission shaped an entire lineage of Western esoteric wisdom through Alice Bailey and the Theosophical tradition. There's so much we can talk about. Janet was so nice after my internet didn't work to come back the second day and late at night too there. So, hey, welcome to the Reality Revolution.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm really, really blessed to be here. Thank you.
I'd love to get an idea of your story for people that do not know you or have not encountered your work. Give us a little highlight of how this all began. I'm sure you've told the story many times before, right?
Yeah, I'll probably put it a little bit into a nutshell because otherwise you've got about 50 years of it. The truth is, I was completely open as a child, seeing what then used to be referred to as ghosts and spirits. And so there was a very, I call it magic and mayhem, my upbringing. There was a lot of confusion, a lot of trauma around it, a lot of misunderstanding. And so really, once I actually started learning all about energy, really, from about the age of 12, that sort of set me on a little bit of a different path. And I would say over the years, something that really shaped me was the different layers of it. You know, I was starting with the scary stuff and the stuff I didn't understand and all the aspects of the invisible world that was probably not really understood, but also not believed. And then moving on later on into more of these higher vibrations as I worked on myself. It's that whole thing about matching. You know, I had a lot of fear in me, and so I would attract a lot of the things that had a lot of fear. But really the whole origins of all of this is two worlds. Growing up just on the outskirts of London, always wanting to be normal, just wanting to go out, be a teenager, wanting to go to parties, all of those things. And I say I fell out of school. 2 days after my 16th birthday, I was working in London. It was boom time. So I was doing, sort of on a trading floor and things like that. And so I had this one side and then this other side of me that was in a continual process of training to be a medium and an energy healer and trying to balance everything that was actually going on. And it took me way into my 20s before I really found myself more in that. And I carried on in the corporate world for quite some time. But I moved on to dealing with spirit release and earth energies healing. And it was through actually being a healer that people kept telling me about things and recollections they were having while I was doing healing. And I was literally seeing their past lives, which got me interested in past life regression, read books, because it wasn't on the internet then, and became a regression therapist. And through that, I then became a trainer. So I've had this whole therapy side, teaching as well. And yet the channeling, I was discovered. Back in the day, there weren't many people that were trance mediums. And so they gave me extra one-to-one training to be a trance medium. And I was pushed it to the side because I think you have to be quite balanced in yourself to be able to balance these other energies and keep your sanity really as well, or back then. And so I became a channel and that kept coming forward. And now I really focus my work mainly on being a channel. However, I think it's true of all of us. It's our life experiences, isn't it, really? It's our life experiences that come in together. And I really understand now, particularly with Zach, there's this compatibility when you channel with these higher vibrations. And even though they are so much higher, they will always find an edge. What is the edge with this person? And I think probably all the therapy training, trauma, all of that sort of side of things as well, Zach can use some of that language that he can find using the vocabulary. And his whole premise these days is about self-mastery. And so it's quite intriguing to me, because some of the things I'm like, yeah, that's to do with that, or that's to do with that, to do with the therapeutic side. And yet there are things that are contrary to that now because of the way the frequency has changed. So I'm constantly learning through these insights. I don't really want to call it this wisdom, because it is wisdom, but it's really insights. What we're really doing is sharing. I'm being the voice of the universe, really, of a part of the universe. I'm being able to bring through for others, really for them to remember what they know themselves. We all know this inside of ourselves, and yet we're going through this massive, he calls it evolution, which I love it. He makes up his own little words. He's been using this for ages, which is evolution and elevation at the same time. So this evolution that we're all going through upon the planet and within ourselves. And by doing that, we are remembering, but there's sort of sprinkling in the new information, so we don't have to flounder the whole time to get there, so that as we take that in, we can make those leaps within ourselves to, he calls it betterment for all. And when he says all, he really means not only ourselves, but other people, animals, the planet, nature, the universe. He literally means the whole universe. As we interpret and evolate, then this is actually helping everything else. So this is the self-mastery side of things, is really in everything that he does.
Can you take me back to the first time you met Zach, what that experience was like?
Yeah, it was interesting, because even though I was doing more channeling, I was doing it in a way where people would ask all sorts of questions, and we would have lots and lots of questions from different backgrounds, or should I say different categories. At that time, I was actually also as an assistant trainer for the academy, and we used to have this place, it was a bit like Hogwarts in England, this old stately home that is now for spiritual learning, and we'd have these residential courses, and in the evenings, it sounds a bit strange, channeling light-hearted relief, but it was sort of quite quiet and just doing something different after they'd been doing all of that. So they were put together, it didn't happen the whole time, but now and again we'd have a little thing where people would put together a whole load of questions, and it would be on topics that they were interested in, and they would go really, really deep on different subjects. And I would channel, but we would constantly ask for the highest available, most compatible energy that could answer this. And so you'd be answering questions on, say, theology 1 minute, and then the next it's about aliens, and then the next it's about the earth. And so my body was really going through it, because we'd have these energies, and I used to be a completely out of body channel, which means that I completely remove my consciousness and then allow complete takeover. And this was at this particular time when this was happening, they were talking to some wonderful galactic beings who were not used to a human body, and it was jerking so much. Hazel, who is my colleague now with Patreon, it was her idea, these at Zach's portal, she was actually a bit concerned that my shoulder was actually going to dislocate. It was popping so much, all this sort of jerky movements. And so she just, it just came to her, you know, is it inspiration? Was it guided? Was it meant? Who knows? She simply said, can we simply have the most compatible higher energy who can answer everything we put? And my body went really still. And there was a little bit of tremors, and this voice came through. And this was the first time we spoke to Zach. And we didn't know his name at the time, initially. When she asked for a name for him after a little while, I said, look, what can we call you? He thought about it for a while, and he said, you can call me a guide for the future. And that was, as you say, quite a long time ago now. I think it was back in about 2012 when I first actually brought through Zach. And he has been consistent ever since. And these little things that he said back then are really quite major for me now, that I think he really has been a guide for the future. And this whole appearance as Zach, this name, he says it's the frequency, the ZAC as well. And it is a lifetime that he had. It's the same soul as Djwal Khul. And yet he's wanting to move out of this separation of this idea of each of us as individuals. He's far more personable for who we are now and how we talk. But it's a life that he absolutely adored, this very much close to the earth, close to the community, heart-centered life. So he brings through that personality, but he's also wanting for there not to be airs and graces. He's got nothing against labels and, whether we're saying it's an ascended master or there's archangels or this, because it's all out there. He wants people to be able to not be thinking of that side when they're talking and listening. It's as if they're just seeing a reflection of themselves coming back. And he has this very light-hearted, I think sometimes his sort of jokey humour is a bit like an uncle at a wedding, as in, it's sort of funny, it's slightly cringy, it's a bit, what are you doing? But he has this way, even when we are talking about the most serious of things, to bring this lovely, light-hearted quality and make people laugh. And he's said many times, in the laughter, in the lightness, that's when your heart opens up. That is when you can actually take in, not information up here, but information in here. So even if afterwards you think, oh, that was really lovely, so when I used to do talks and be on stage somewhere rather than, in front of a computer, even if someone walked away and couldn't remember what was said, the changes were happening within them because there's this transmission through his voice as well, through what is actually being said. So he wants to walk side by side. He doesn't want to say, he doesn't prophesize, even though he has talked so much over the years about these potential timelines, sometimes people call them, but he calls them all these different potential realities. And he does say that it used to be so much more a case of things were a bit more predestined than they are now, because it's all about how we light up, literally how we are emanating the light within us. We are constantly being far more masters of our future. And in so doing, the potential lines, they become stronger and stronger. So he says, how can anyone particularly prophesize? Because there's so many different realities that could come. But he said, if there's the self-master, they can see where the strongest ones and the most ideal ones for us in humanity. So from this humble sort of and sweet start with him, he's probably, I'm so close to him in a way, even though he doesn't channel for me directly and he's not my guide. Some people say, is he my guide? No, he's way wherever off in that. But I think he keeps that slight boundary with me so that I can be neutral and be able to just be a voice box, really, and be a transmission from him, because the way he channels through me now is through the heart. It's a heart transmission. It looks and sounds the same to everybody, but instead of me being completely out of body, again, self-mastery for my learning, I have the ability to be in the background whilst he uses my energy to be able to do that at the same time.
Which happens over time. You get better and better at it, right? You both form a bond. I can see it. And the best channelers, it seems like if they've been doing it for a long time, that tells me a lot, because there's so many channelers out there. It's so many beings to channel. It's a busy universe, right? So
I love that. It's a busy
right?
universe.
So I'm also I tend to lean towards and become more interested in some channels that sort of focus on one channel for a long time, even though they can channel a lot of different beings, because it feels like some entities are meant for some people, like they had made some sort of pre-arrangement prior to incarnation, like we're going to work together, you're going to channel through me. I get that feeling that there's a deeper connection, right?
There is. He dangles it a little bit like a carrot. The times that we've asked him, he will allude to things. I almost get the feeling that if I knew fully, it might detract me from it.
Right.
And yet I know, being a regression therapist, having, going through past lives myself, but also something called life between life, where you go into the memories in between, the lifetime in between. And you go very, very deep trance for this. And in that, he was there. And he was there as one of the I just call them consciousnesses that I was really around. So I'm like, okay, so I really did know you before. You are that connected with me. And yet it's been interesting. When I used to do one-to-ones and so forth, there have been people over the years where he suddenly talks about them as old friends, and he talks about times, and people recognize him, feel him, know him. So I think all these different incarnations, and sometimes I think I have to get away from, because he doesn't want this separate, or thinking of this as of the linear idea of this one life and how many lives can we be. Actually, these aspects of ourselves and coming into lots of different lives. And so something else that he's done quite a lot is act as a gatekeeper. So I used to do these channeling extravaganzas, and people would come for 3 days, and he wouldn't give me any prep, which was really frustrating for me, because I'm a bit of an analytical obsessive, or should I say recovering analytical obsessive. And from the corporate world, I wanted to have all my schedule, and I had no schedule. He wouldn't give me anything again, so there would be this complete freedom. But he would be talking, and then he would act as a gatekeeper and just move out the way. And there were so many of these beautiful, incredible higher energies which would come through just for a segment and for the particular theme that they were talking about. And so there is that as well, like you say, with people that have been channeling for a long time, or have simply found a really, really deep connection with a particular type of energy. Because it might not be the individual, but it might be the types. Some people feel so comfortable with the galactics, or might feel really, really comfortable with angels. And it can even be just the frequency bandwidth. So you have that coherence. When I was training as a trance medium, I felt an awful lot of pressure on me, especially as back then it was not the normal thing to do. I didn't want anyone to know. And then I had these incredible mediums who were teaching me, saying, I wish I had the ability, and there's so few people around, and you could almost name them on like one hand. They're like, you've got this ability. But this was years ago. And when I was channeling Zach way back when, it wasn't that long after I was channeling him, he suggested doing channeling workshops, teaching people to channel. And I asked him, how do I work out who, thinking back to my own training? And he just said, everyone can channel now. Frequency is different. Everyone's a healer now. It's about the discipline. That's a bit of a strong word for it, probably a bit of an old-fashioned word, but it's more to do with the protocols. It's more to know what you are doing, but also working on yourself so that you are in a very balance. It's more about the equilibrium, I believe, within you, and what you are willing to connect with, but then also have your own rules and boundaries, really, because we are not puppets. The channels, we're not puppets. Back in Trance Medium, and I've got some books that go back into sort of Victorian era, and it's quite shocking, people strapped to chairs and sort of blindfolded and all of these things, so that it wasn't, so they knew that people weren't masking and, making things up. And it was a very, very different way. And even how I was taught was a very different way. It was about surrendering yourself, giving yourself over. Whereas now, everything that he teaches, and when I was teaching actual channeling with him, it's about union. It's about coming together and the deep respect for one another. And he always said, if they don't have respect for you, or then you're channeling something false. If something is pushing you and saying, I must come through you, that is not right. So, there's a lot of things there regarding how we actually channel. But I think it's this moving piece that almost like, ask me next week and I think it will change again, because we are moving so fast. Time is speeding up. The expansion is happening at such a massive rate. And I think a lot of people are channeling without even realizing they're channeling, and then getting a bit freaked out by it as well.
Yeah. It's so true. I see it. I understand that Zach, that in the spiritual community, many of other channels have sort of taught us about service to others being the model. And Zach says that's an outdated model, that we're moving beyond that. Can you explain what he's teaching there?
Yeah. He's been saying for maybe the last 7 to maybe even 10 years ago, he started.
Yeah.
He said, this is a time of heart's desire. And this isn't heart's desire the way sometimes in human terms we think. We can think heart's desire can be a little bit selfish. This is just what I want. But he's talking about deep spiritual heart's desire, who you really are, what you really believe in and want. And when you actually get deep into that, he always says there's so much goodness there. And therefore, if your heart's desire is to be of service in a way that feels right for you, then that is your heart's desire. So service will continue. However, it's like when you do a good deed for someone, you can often feel better than they do. So service is still very much an element. However, how he talks about it is, rather than thinking that is actually one of the main reasons for life, is actually this is just a part of it. And it's actually working out what your heart's desires are. Because if you're working for betterment for all, and you're working with your heart's desires will improve things for yourself, for others. The more more happier. It's more than just being happy, but that you are, the more you can be in a good position for other people and be in a good place. So it's really, he even says, it was about autumn equinox last year, and with the advent of Three-Eye Atlas and all the other things that actually happen, he said we've actually fully moved into now the era of the heart as well. He calls this the era of the heart. And for whatever we are seeing out in the world and in our own internal worlds, no one is immune from this. The more we can be in this heart state, the more we can find the resources and the resilience and the inspiration to move things. And rather than going in circles and playing out how maybe us as humans have done it lots of different times, we're spiraling up, and we are using the new technology, we could call it, in the sense of the frequency changes and what we're all privy to way outside of ourselves but is within, and what we are remembering, so that we can, yes, history repeats itself a lot, and maybe what we are seeing in our world is history repeating ourselves, but we can change the outcomes. We don't have to be on repeat, because this frequency, because the light is changing, the earth is changing, we're changing. He talks about the cuboid of the universe and the heart. The cuboid of the universe he's always talked about right from the beginning, which I think is where physics fits in our universe. Physics outside of that cuboid starts changing a bit, so it's more about the physics of it. But he talks about the heart of the universe, and something he's really been pushing in recent times is this idea of, yes, we are humans, and of course we are also nature, but we are also the universe. So through this heart and this heart's desire, one of the ways of really discovering and owning your heart's desire is connecting regularly with the heart of the universe, and not in any big huge protocols, just with intent. You could just sit quietly having a few breaths, put your hand on your heart and just say, I connect, or I'm in coherence with the heart of the universe. And it's quite incredible what can happen just simply by doing that. So yeah, heart's desire rather than service.
I love it. It makes sense. It's such a deep teaching, because following the heart's desire, you end up inevitably being of service in the best way possible, when you truly the true heart. And so there's so many other aspects of this. Since he's focused on the future, what is Zach telling you about our future in the near future and in the long-term future? What have you learned from Zach about that?
There is a big effort. This is the way I see it. There is a big effort going on behind the scenes for people to not need to keep going down roads of so much suffering. So where we're having quite a collapse of of all sorts of things that we have been used to and we've been hardwired to, and things are changing. He's saying that we are coming out of this time of destruction. And of course, when anything new is built, destruction has to happen to make way for the new. However, rather than a cataclysmic destruction of even some of our systems, which are maybe outdated, but also would be very catastrophic to a lot of people if they just went overnight. It feels like there is a lot of extra, let's call it just divine help outside of ourselves, higher intelligence help that is helping us. He doesn't focus on it too much, I believe, because he's constantly talking about if we are, self-mastery and all the things he's talking about self-mastery, how we can move through anything that is going on. However, when he's put on point about some of these big sort of events, he says there's potential, but the potential isn't as strong as we might expect. And it's because the only way we can rebuild is not if we're constantly firefighting with all of the other things going on. So I think for Zach, he feels the future is quite bright. He says he's a big fan of humans, which always makes me smile, as if it's like watching, and how far we've got. Sometimes we are on the cusp, on the tipping point of this change. He is constantly looking at what is going on in all of our energy fields, how we are reacting to things, to then the potentials all shifting and changing. And that the majority of people are more aligned now for this sort of collective thinking and the good of all. And actually, if you hurt, I hurt too. Even if we're not necessarily seeing it directly in our world. But he says individually, you're probably more seeing it in your, in yourself or your communities. So I don't feel that there's the constant sort of turbulence that we've got and quite craziness in so much of the world, that will go on, but without this, almost like it's bubbling, but without this I do feel there's maybe quite a lot of seismic activity coming up though, because there is a lot going on with the earth and these frequency shifts that we keep going through to do with the light and different aspects that just are happening, whole big picture thing going on there. This is almost triggering different things going on, and we know within our weather patterns and so forth. So he doesn't, as we said, he doesn't particularly predict anyway, but when he is put on the spot, he really is feeling we've got it far more than we feel we've got it. That it really is in our hands. And he has been saying that this year and next year, he said, like last year, I believe it was the first sort of year of real creation. Now we're in fully creative fire mode now, where he says the universe is, I love it, it's sizzling and fizzling with potential. And so now he's talking a lot about more aligned for the frequency now way of manifesting, and about joy and so forth, and coming through these different aspects. And that by doing that, all sorts of inventions, this is the thing with the creation, is saying there's so much going behind the scenes that you're not seeing, that are really going to help putting a lot of the situations that humans have created. He says, any problems that are on Earth basically have been humans' creations. And he said the universe is always finding ways of solving it before the humans have even thought up the problem in the first place. And it's just out there, ready to be downloaded. It's just how long in our physical reality that comes about. But he sees it in a very optimistic way. He really does see it in a very optimistic way.
I'm excited to learn more from Zach. One of my favorite things about Zach is his exploration of the future, and it's something we've been working on in my group, is the connecting to the future self and different versions and aspects of yourself on different timelines, and actually downloading information from these different timelines. I feel like Zach is sort of talking about the same things that we're discovering interpersonally in our meditations. That's one aspect of it. So How long does it take for you to connect to Zach? What's the process that you go through? Is it instantaneous since you've been doing it for so long?
It literally takes me a couple of minutes. So I've already tuned into him before. Sometimes when I'm saying it's because I can feel him.
Yeah.
I sometimes say it's a bit like a parrot on my shoulder. He's like eager to get in and start chatting.
I love it.
So it really won't take me long. I just make that shift and then he can come through.
Yeah.
And Zach talks about other lives. He doesn't say past lives like I would have said as a regressionist,
Right.
or future lives. And I love that. It's like his little wink towards it of its other lives and other incarnations. And as you say, you can connect with them right here and now, because outside of the physical self there is no time, and so it can loop time, do all sorts of things to be able to connect with that. So it would be fascinating to hear what he says. Shall I get out of the way? And
well, one other question: how much does Zach follow the law of confusion? A lot of channels, they feel like when you speak to them, they there's a certain mystery they have to leave to it. There's certain things they cannot say. So before I start asking a question, how much can Zach say? Does he follow the law of confusion?
He's quite mischievous in the sense that sometimes he'll I feel it, I mean, you wouldn't see it on my face, but I feel him also giving a bit of a nod and a wink of, I'm not really supposed to tell you this, but I think he has a bit of carte blanche that he says, he always gives away a little bit more than maybe. There's been the odd occasion when he says that he can't answer a particular question, but he will always tell you why. And it can be to do with a situation that is in the midst of playing out, that if he gives that information, it prevents the free will in the people happening. But it doesn't happen very often. So he has said a few things a few years ago where then he's updated the information later and he said, but if I had told you that part of it, you would have been worried about X, Y, Z. But actually, this is all fine. But it doesn't come up very often. So I think you can get a lot out of Zach.
All right, I'm excited. I can't wait.
The secrets of the universe. That's what he's here for. He wants to do it.
All right. We're ready whenever Zach's ready. So
wonderful. I'll just have a quick glug of water. The more channeling you do these days, the more water you need. I'll just get my hair out of the way. Okay. And you won't have to guess when he's there. He'll always say some form of hello or welcome to you. Welcome, my dear. Welcome. Mm-hmm. Inquisitive mind. Haha. Where would you like to begin?
We are honored to have you join us, Zach. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. We would first like to offer you the opportunity to speak about whatever you wish to the people that are listening and those that will watch in the future. Do you have any message for them?
Reality. Particularly for your energetic presence and the audience attracted. It is not any confusion anymore. The reality is most certainly changing, and you are seeing it changing before your eyes. You will also start to see quite shortly a lot of energy in your field changing as well, as people start to radiate the light far more. Now, before you think people will be walking down the street simply glowing, that would not be quite right. And yet the light, the information, the love that is impacted in the light, moving out. And through this, peoples will be getting far more in tune with a reality that goes beyond anything that they have ever been taught. This is an expanded reality, taking in far more than what they had ever thought was just physical. In so doing, one of the main remits of this is in order to be able to expand the heart, and therefore the more enjoyable of the emotions, more of the joy, more of the bliss, more of the contentment, and more of the understanding of who they truly are. Is that a good place to begin, my dear? Yes. Ask any questions you wish.
Thank you so much for that. Can you tell us about the nature of time? Is it possible for us to pick a particular future self in the future, link to it, and communicate with it, to entangle with it, to connect with it in the now?
Time is purely helpful for physical form to stay together. If you completely let go of a representation of time, everything would just flow into individual cells, not communicating with each other, not holding together. Now, of course, that is not going to happen. However, what human beings have the ability to do is, as your modern expression says, think outside the box. And therefore, what you can actually understand regarding time is, if you give permission for your body to stay intact, you can allow through your mind and the magic of imagination. Now, imagination, we're not talking about simply making things up. This is actually a road you can follow, a pathway to follow to any point in time within your cuboid of the universe. Therefore, it is good to have a destination, because otherwise, a bit like meandering along a street, don't know where you're going. And therefore, as you said, going into one of your other lives, other incarnations, you have a direct connection with that other being. And therefore, a bit like a beacon, you can connect with it. One way of doing it is a bit like with a friend when you tell them you're coming. Useful, therefore, maybe even 24 hours or so before, again using time. But this is simply so that it is just simply habit forming, where you give an indication that you will be visiting. Then you can put this out to the universe delivers the message to the other you that you are wishing to connect with, and they then know to expect, and they start sending out a beacon, almost like a lighthouse, to guide you to where they are. This is an easier way to do it. Now, time, of course, you are not moving as if you're moving in a physical self. You do not need to go anywhere, do anything to be able to move through the time. All it is actually a change in our perception. That is all it takes. This is why we talked about the perception of time in a human body, in a physical reality. If you just simply shift your perception into the knowing, not just believing, actual knowing that you can connect. And if you're wondering, well, can I really connect? Yes, of course. Everything that is part of your soul is interconnected. It is all having all of these many aspects, far than you could probably even imagine, of different experiences at one time. And therefore, they're all in just simply different realities. And you can use the time aspect to know whether you want to go forward, back, or even sideways. Now that would be interesting, wouldn't it? Sideways takes you into parallel universes and lifetimes. But yes, try this, my dear. Maybe you have tried this already, and therefore then you can connect and you can find through the heart the connection, simply because the heart is the same throughout. The head and the consciousness communication may be very different in different incarnations, and yet you can find your way through and to feel into that experience and to be able to receive information from that other self. And you could call it, again, modern expression, download it into your form now. Why not utilize everything else that you as a soul is experiencing and bring it into your life now? Understand, yes?
Absolutely. That is an amazing answer. Thank you so much. Can you tell us more about the nature of our solar system, our history, or anything that you can reveal to us that can help us in our spiritual path now?
The way that the solar system, something that we have not spoken of before, the way the solar system was designed is so that there is a union between all of the different planets. And therefore, whereas on planet Earth, through your astrology and other, you do understand the movement of the planets and the repercussion upon the Earth, not just within people, but also nature and so forth. The Earth is doing the same to the planets of the solar system. It is a very common and natural thinking for human beings simply to think about the connection to what is happening to them. However, the Earth is also having a resonance structure changes within the other planetary aspects of the solar system, and indeed the Milky Way, and indeed the whole cuboid of the universe. Therefore, as the Earth is reaching greater maturity, and this is all again symbiotic, yes, in between humans, nature, interaction, all of these things. And due to the frequency change that we see in human resonance and all other things, and far greater frequency changes, as it becomes into maturity, it is changing the patterning within the solar system. And therefore, the Earth is one of the last of all the planets. It doesn't matter that they are not inhabited, there is still consciousness within the others. And therefore, as the Earth reaches a maturity, you are finding that your solar system is reaching a new maturity. Is this new information for you, my dear? Do you like it?
Absolutely. Can you talk about the nature of these other planets and what it's like to be a planetary consciousness?
So when you are, as a soul, coming into incarnations, of course, everybody here is human in this particular time frame that we are talking of, in the reality you're in right now, know that they are coming into human life. And they will have had many, many other human lives, blah, 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 all of these things, in nature and so forth. However, it is not to be overlooked the many, many different types of group incarnation or simply carnation consciousnesses that can happen. So as a soul, you, dear Brian, for example, even now in the reality, part of your soul is having a collective experience within the planet of Venus. Now, before you think, oh, is it just me? No, there's many, many others. So in this way, what you are experiencing is how to be in that group consciousness combined with the consciousness of the planet itself. Now, the planet itself would have initiated a slightly separate consciousness from the whole of the universe to embody itself within there at the time of its creation. And therefore, as you can imagine, this is ancient. So one of the reasons why souls choose to do this is because by doing this way, it is almost finding the rhythms of the universe. We do not want to really call it the physics of the universe. It is a way of understanding the movements, the rotations, the pressures, how it is to be as one and in isolation, whilst also having own personality. It is quite hard to articulate in a human way because the experience is so different. But maybe this is one of the ways you could have an adventure. As we said, with the time going to other place, asked to connect with the consciousness that is embedded, as it were, within Venus at this time. And of course, those souls, such as yourself within, are part of its own evolution, its own changes. So you can see there is this constant interaction where all that is affecting you is actually coming in a way from yourself as well in all these other aspects. Makes sense, my dear?
Makes sense. I would love to know about the nature of my light body. I've been told I have a light body. Can you instruct us on what that means and how we can activate it?
So everybody has a light body. It is just how far they have gone with it. This is where the etheric, which is connected with the etheric of the whole of the plasma system of your cuboid of the universe, interacts with each other. Now, the wondrous thing when you come into an incarnation is you have the benefit of having the individual experience within the whole. And therefore, you have the benefit of not simply developing at the pace of everyone else. Everybody has the choice to develop in their own way. Due to your own interests and to do with certain particular events that you were a part of previously 20 years or more before. Actually, they're saying go back further, 30, 35 years where it all started. This activated the light body. Now we're using activated in a slightly different term here. What we mean by this, there was a trigger point from your heart within that said, I want to learn about my light body in terms of, so it's not just simply the etheric nature of you. There is a part of you that becomes almost a slightly different representation. Now this light body can be very, very useful in terms of traveling upon the etheric. It is a little bit like people have out-of-body experiences and so forth, but rather than having to go through all the protocols of removing much of your consciousness, you have your light body to do it, and through your light body, the light body can then communicate to you the adventures that it has. The light body can travel anywhere within your keyboard of the universe as it is part of its rhythms and natures, but it is upon your direction and it is constantly tethered to you. Now, because you have been putting much work in it, as I look at your energy field, your light body is incredibly bright. Think 100-watt bulb. And this is because you have putting your focus upon it. When people do not put focus on their light body, even if it has been activated in such a strong way, it may be a little bit dimmer, but that is just until they get to the point when this is a priority for them. And so in so doing, this is another way that you can extend in very expanded and really discovering the frontiers of reality through indeed the light body. It is part of you, it will never go away, and yet it can travel further than your physical self can. Far further. Understand, yes? Is this your understanding of the light body?
Yes. How can I use my light body to travel into different universes and dimensions?
It is more simple than you would think. The wondrous thing is, even 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, we would have to go through many different protocols in order for you to be able to travel safely, to not have side effects within the body and so forth. However, the frequency that everybody and your whole planet is resonating with now and is in resonance with is at such an elevated level that you have the ability to simply be able, through your desire, your heart's desire, to be able to go on any adventures you like for the light body. Therefore, we would instruct in the beginning, make sure your own physical body is not needing to support yourself. Do not try to do this while you are standing and so forth, even though you'll be able to do it in the future. Maybe laying prone, maybe when you're going to bed, meditation, blah, 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 blah. All of these things. Simply allow your own body to be comfortable, so you're not having to think about supporting your own body. And then have some practice. Different places. Allow your mind to run free. We call it wandering the lanes of wonder. Allow it to wander in the lanes of wonder, where you can start to think about and allow inspiration to come to you. The universe can talk to you as well to say, why do you not come here? Come and have a look at this. Maybe you want to go into other dimensions. Maybe you want to travel within the actual sphere of the universe that you are known. Maybe you want to travel forward, back in time and so forth. And you can always send your light body before you are doing it yourself. In this way, you have the capacity to remain very, very whole, complete, healthy equilibrium and in your physicality, whilst the knowledge is gained and you can experience through, you can say, light body, I want to see through your eyes. Your light body will have all the same abilities that you do. I want to hear with your ears. I want to taste what you taste. But just be a little bit careful, because frequencies, particularly with sound, can feel very, very high pitched when you're in the physical body. So maybe try the seeing element first. But you can do all of these things, so you can play around with it. As we said, now that this is the ability, and when you are in this coherent, do not try and do it when you're upset or so forth, and never do it when you are trying to run away from a problem, because everything just gets a bit jumbled up. But do it when you are heart-centered, when you are quiet, when you are focused, when you are grounded and within, and then, I'd say the sky's the limit, but that is only the start of the sky. You can go any way that you wish. And people do not know this, because all of this is so new and available to the human body and the human spirit. Understand, yes?
Yes. Thank you. Can you tell me more about the nature of my soul and the path that I am on? And for others that are watching, on the nature of theirs, how we can come to a better understanding of it to find our soul's purpose.
You are one of many who have got a little bit frustrated as a soul of seemingly having earthly lives which end up being very similar experiences. Now, we are not talking about the fundamentals of, who exactly you were in these lives. Simply that you could see that all of your times, so often when you came back, you said, but how much did I as an individual make a difference? I might have made a difference to my family or my community, but what about the wider reaches? Now, one of the reasons why yourself and many people are living at this time is they knew that this was going to be such a changing time on earth, this time of earth coming into its maturity, the time of the frequency changes. You could see how there could be a conjoined action which really changed the velocity, good word for this, the velocity of human experiences. And therefore, there is a collective, and you are connecting with many of those people now. There is a feeling, even though you think, well, we're very dissimilar, we're from the other side of the world, we have even very different likes, dislikes, different generations and so forth, and yet in your heart there is a familiarity. And this is what you are recognizing. And this is also what many people within your audience will be understanding, because they have been drawn to these things, because they have had this dissatisfaction with these other lives of saying, yes, I might have had a personal progression, if you want to call it this, but what about the big experience? And so this is like a big festival in a way. It is a coming together of like hearts. Now, not everybody on the planet is here doing the same thing. This is absolutely true. They've got other reasons. However, those who have had this dissatisfaction about the individuality, they are the ones that are the forerunners of bringing people together to see a more expanded way, a different way, a way that does not judge, a way that only questions what we can do that is better. Understand? Yes, this is just one element. I do not want to take your time talking lots about all the different aspects, but I'm very happy to. How about this main aspect? Does this resonate with you? Do you feel this, my dear?
Very much so.
Familiar?
Thank you. Can you talk more clearly for the people that come to my channel? They notice the changing nature of the world and the nature of their consciousness. Can you guide us and tell us more about the nature, the way that we are shifting into a new earth? Can you explain more about that process?
For many years, it has been said by Zachariah, that one of the ways to live life, if you are unsure about anything else, live in kindness, live in grace, live in love, live in fortitude. With these elements, you are capable of astonishing things. And this is what is happening at this time. This is this coming together of a desire for there to be greater compassion and a greater movement into the future. It is not so long ago that people may not have had any real understanding of somebody that is quite different from them, whether they are from the next village or from the other side of the world. People's lives very much, focused. Let us simply use the word focused on the immediacy of those around. Due to the modern world that you are living in, there is so much more focus on so much outside of yourself, on the entirety of the globe and into space and so forth. As the compassionate heart grows further, it is natural, therefore, that there is a desire for there to be far less suffering and all of these things and a coming together. There is more awareness of the similarity rather than the differences within. And this is one of the biggest ways of the growth of the changes within. And this in itself, with the changes that are coming to you from the cosmos, the shifts in the light particles, the wave patterns, and the way that your selves and your DNA are actually responding. When you are then interpreting through the cellular nature of yourself, this compassion, the kindness, and all the other things we are speaking of, what starts to happen is an opening up, a shifting and a changing, a physical change within, and this emitting light that we are starting to talk about, and this way of being. So therefore, it really comes from what you desire for others, what you desire at a collective experience, what you desire for yourself is really the springboard into actually manifesting the changes that will respond to a positioning in the world where you become far more resilient to toxins, for example, in the world. You have far greater healing powers for yourself. You get greater longevity. So you can see you are helping yourself simply by having a big heart to be helping others. Make sense?
Makes sense. Can you tell us how we can best shift into our greatest timeline?
Honesty and truth. Aha. What is better? That is an answer, I'm sure. Now, when we are talking about honesty and truth, we are not talking about the big reveals, oh, we need truth from everybody else out there, blah, blah, blah. We are talking about honesty and truth within. This is the point that is so important at this very moment in time. This particular period, for the next 3 months in particular, what is actually happening, the connections and the frequencies and so forth, and all of these changes. One of the ways to be most accessible for them is to be able to relax into self. What we are seeing within people is there is almost not a resilience, but quite a solid boundary around almost very much the cells of themselves, the whole energy field, where they are holding on to tight beliefs that they have told themselves. And these are not necessarily always factual, because we understand that as humans, much of what we understand and what we believe when we're in a human life comes from our emotional responses and so forth. And therefore, sometimes due to our wounds and our hurts and others, we do not really see the truth of ourselves. Now, what is happening at this time is now is the time to shift that. Now is the time for honesty and truth within, even if you do not say it to any other person. We've been talking of acceptance journals, very, very popular thing, gratitude journals and so forth for some time. And gratitude is still, of course, very important. However, acceptance. The more you can accept yourself, it is not saying, oh, I accept myself and I will not change. No, this is where the change comes. By accepting self and being honest and true with self, what actually happens is your energy field relaxes. If your energy field relaxes, all of this tightness around yourselves and other also relax, and then you can receive all of the coding, all the lights, all the wonderful things that the whole world is being bathed in at this time, to then be able to naturally metamorphosize and change. So therefore, if you come away with one thing, after all our discussions, is simply just maybe just putting into the little memory bank, I remember to be more honest and truthful with self. And in so doing, you are helping your own evolution. Understand, yes?
Yes. Can we connect with you in meditation, Zach?
Absolutely. Zachariah, I can be everywhere. Best way though is through your heart. And also another way is if you evoke the color of the bright green, emerald green. We are part of the emerald green ray. And therefore, even by doing that, that is like a super highway through your superconscious as well. So yes. Always very happy to help. This is why here to be with all of you on this journey going forward, to be by your side, to walk by your side, not to tell you what to do, but to applaud you when you just naturally do what you are remembering. Haha, is to be done. Good. But yes, through the emerald ray, and also just simply by following the name Zach. Understand, yes?
Understand. Thank you. I have the opportunity to lead guided meditations on a regular basis with a large group of people. And I would love for your guidance in providing an advanced form of meditation that I can offer to the people that listen to me, that have meditated with me for a long time, to enhance the shift, to become the catalyst for the things that you're speaking about. Can you help me with that?
Something that would be most useful is as all of the people come into the union with themselves, to find that equilibrium within, to find their heart connection, to then bring in the heart of the universe. By doing this, by connecting with the heart of the universe, again it is a bit like the superhighway, you then open up to a sphere, a realm that is normally a little bit apart, but all you need to say is heart of the universe to be able to do this. Now, in so doing, you will feel a shift. You will know when it happens as well, because it will feel like your own heart, but a greatly expanded version. Now, within there, it is not like a place. It is not something where you go, oh, I know I'm there because I see this, I feel this, whatever. What it actually allows you to do is now you have a point of being able to go experience anything that you wish. It is a bit like you've got the golden ticket, you understand, by doing this. So as your own herbal guides are here and saying that you have many different styles and ways and protocols, they're saying follow all of them. However, you will know the point, and you will feel the point where you take everyone into the heart of the universe, and then you could go, well, where couldn't you go? That is the question. Anywhere that you so wish. And because there is something fundamentally, deeply within you as a soul as well about pushing boundaries of reality, let us give you that as the first tidbit. Let us see what boundaries of reality that you can push, because you are held then in the center and the heart of the universe as well. And you can safely go and return quite easily. Understand, yes?
Oh, yes. Thank you. That's wonderful. Before we go, Zach, I'd love for you to have the opportunity for one message directly to everyone listening and watching right now or any time in the future. What would you want to bring through in this moment?
The heart's desire of the entirety of the universe is to see all of those that call Earth home to come into a form of maturity as the Earth does itself, so that it does not have to battle with itself. Therefore, the message truly is remember the power within you. This is a time as well of personal power. Personal power is very, very different of force or will. It is a deep understanding or knowledge of your place in the universe and your responsibility as part of the universe, whilst taking on board the grandeur of truly what you are a part of and the integral role you play. Every thought, every action, every way of being, what you are emitted is literally coming through to you from you now, far more than it ever has done before. So be mindful of it, but do not be scared of it. Revel in it and allow yourself to evolve in a beautiful way for betterment of yourself and for all. Understand this?
Yes. We want to thank you so much for joining us. It's been a real honor. Thank you so much for all the work that you've done, Zach. Thank you for your service.
Pleasure, my dear. And should in your meditations you wish to call me in, I would be most enjoyable to revel in your boundaries pushing. Haha, with you. Good. Goodbye, my dear. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you, Zach. I'm honored. Wow. Do you feel it in your face after you have done? I notice your face goes through a lot, doesn't it? Yeah.
Even though it's our heart transmission, he always had a certain sort of accent, and he's chosen to keep it. And I can't do it myself, and it does take a bit out the jaw.
If you were to try, you couldn't do it, right?
It's to do with the frequency of how he puts it. So I am a bit like, but I do also, so excuse what I look like. I do get very hot sometimes when I'm doing it as well. So it's all up.
Amazing.
His energies are...
Your face becomes his face. I could see his face coming through. He's manipulating almost every muscle in your face. Very interesting. And his sense of humor is so unique and different. Such an authentic channeling. It was really remarkable. I want to thank you for that.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. My pleasure. My absolute pleasure.
So the emerald ray, the emerald ray, he's referred to this where you're aware, the emerald ray. So if we can focus in on that emerald green, I've heard that reference. Some people in the group were like, that's the ray of concrete science and knowledge. Some other people were mentioning that they had heard that reference before, the emerald ray. Yeah, very interesting.
It's very connected with Djwal Khul as well. And before we knew about his connection with Djwal Khul, when I was doing events in person, a lot of people come up to me afterwards saying, you were just bathed in this bright green ray. And when people have used aura cameras on me when I've been channeling, there's been this bright green ray. So I'm not surprised he's talking of it, which is, and the green of the heart as well. So it's that higher vibe of the green ray.
I really felt like I was in the temple. I was sitting there, my legs folded, just speaking to this person right there, and not knowing what to say. Yeah. So you are semi-conscious, or you remember everything now when you go through, right?
So I remember everything. The way I work now, rather than being completely out of body, is it's like I don't really know where I am, but I just retreat from myself. And then I'm hearing him. However, because it is a channeling that's coming through, it's quite strange. It's like I'll go to sleep tonight, wake up tomorrow, and I will have a memory of almost like a part of the conversation, but it's like I don't remember it in full at all. Because it's just flowing through. So it's more when I'm as Janet listening. What can be quite odd though is sometimes he talks to me about what I'm thinking at the same time he's talking to you, and that can get quite discombobulating to say the least, because I might think, oh, that's interesting, I've not heard him talk about that before, and then he'll start up another conversation with me at the same time
while you're talking at the same time.
Yeah.
And he seemed very
yeah
he seemed very excited to join us in meditation. That seemed to excited. So I know that people in the group will definitely be inviting Zach. So he's going to have an exciting time. So thank you. I know that this is late your time. I really appreciate you staying up late for us. And hopefully we can talk to Zach again soon in the future. And welcome to the
Absolutely.
Reality Revolution, Janet. And also, everybody, they can become a patron of Zach. What's the best place for people to connect with you or to find out more? The Zach portal, right?
Yeah, so we've got Zach's Portal, so he's ZACS, Zach's Portal, and
Mm-hmm.
we've got one on YouTube. That's just our free monthly Zach chats that's available, but the best place to go is on Patreon for that site. And you can become a free member, and we have monthly Zach chats with all topical information, and then we also have a membership for deep dives and the Zach meditations. And as you've said, they he channels them all in. Everything that I do is in one hit. They're not edited or anything else,
Wow.
because of the flow of the energy. And so many people say afterwards, oh my goodness, while I was doing it, Zach was there with me and Zach's been talking to me. So I'm really
Right.
excited your feedback after you've been doing yours, because I think
I'm excited.
everyone, your audience will get a real taste of Zach in those meditations when you choose to bring him in. So yeah, Patreon. And then there's my own website, planet-therapies.com.
Okay.
And just join the mailing list for that, because I'm just about to start getting mailing lists out, and lots of interesting stuff coming up. So join the mailing list on there, and there are two ways to connect with me and with Zach.
And you also co-wrote a book. Do you have any? You had one book that you co-wrote, right?
Well, there have been a few things to do with regression. I've got pieces in books, but there is a book, Layered Reality, that was actually written by his scientist, who used to come and ask Zach all sorts of questions that they couldn't work out the answers of. And I used to sit in the background thinking, huh? And then he after talking, he decided to actually write a huge amount of the stuff of the universe that he talked to Zach about. And so it's called Layered Reality by Valo Ray.
Well, I'm sure that we would love to see other books from Zach. I'm sure that would be a fascinating experience in whatever way we can connect to Zach. Thank you so much. And welcome to the Reality Revolution, Janet. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much. Absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome to the Reality Revolution. I am so excited to cordially invite you to an amazing event we're hosting in Austin on September 18th through the 20th. We're going to take you into the large sums of money portal, into the vortex where you live in the reality where large sums of money come to you. Almost 10 million of you have listened to one meditation on my channel. And my comment section is filled every single day with people telling me the same impossible story. Money showed up, unexpected checks, refunds out of nowhere, raises, clients, windfalls. And the amazing thing is, it's not just a little bit, it's large sums of money, just as those words denote. From one affirmation, this September 18th through the 20th in Austin at the Hyatt Regency, we're going to do it together in one room for the very first time. Years ago, I found the affirmation that I changed my entire financial life with. I have read it thousands of times. Millions of you have fallen asleep to it. People call it the master code. And here it is. You know it well. You can probably say it with me. I am so happy and grateful now that large sums of money come to me easily and quickly in increasing quantities from multiple sources on a continuous basis in the best interest of all, that I get to keep, give, spend, and invest joyfully. This has been the master code of my life, and so many of you. It has changed my life in so many ways. Every single word in that affirmation has come true in my life, and there's nothing I want more than for you to experience the same thing. Every word is deliberate, large sums coming to you easily and quickly from many sources continuously in the best interest of all. This is the affirmation people have written to me about, from their cars after an unexpected deposit, from their kitchens the morning a check arrived, from lives that changed after they simply kept listening. It works. You had told me it works. Tens of millions of views later, in a comment section that reads like a miracle log. Read the comments under that meditation right now. Real people, strangers to each other, saying the same thing in thousands of different ways. The money came, the exact amount they needed, the opportunity they had given up on, the doors that opened the week they started listening. And here's what stays with me the most. The people who come to my live events tell me the same thing every single time, that being in the room in 3 days does what years of listening alone was building toward. The meditation opens the door. The room walks you through it. For the first time ever, I'm taking the master code deep for 3 days into a room. For 3 days this September. An entire event built around shifting you into the large sums of money future that is available to you. 9 immersive sessions. We open by unleashing infinite streams of money. We walk through a range of money. We quantum jump into large sums of money together. You come face to face with the wealthiest self of you in the multiverse. And we live inside this affirmation for 3 days until it becomes deeply embedded in our DNA, until it is no longer something that you listen to. It is who you are. This is the most powerful way I've ever found to transform money in a person's life. And I've only ever been able to give you a piece of it through the screen. I'm going to give you all the most advanced teachings on money, ways I was able to make money. I want to show you that in this new economy, in this new age, that you have access to infinite streams of money, that it's available to you now. We're living in the best time ever to be prosperous and free. I'm also bringing things into the room that I've never done at any event. I'm keeping them a surprise. What I will tell you, this is the first time gathering around the master code in person for 3 days, and it will only be the first time once. You're going to want to say that you were there when it happened. You're going to want to be the one sharing your success story in the way that it changed your life, in the way large sums of money came to you.
Today was my first day with Brian Scott. It was just a wonderful experience.
So my favorite one that has always resonated with me is the manifesting abundance mindset. So like I am so happy and grateful that large sums of money come to me easily and quickly.
I've been a fan of Brian Scott's for years, and the opportunity to see this event live exceeded my expectations.
So grateful to be here. I've been listening to Brian's stuff for 2 years. I'd say Brian really changed my life.
When we come together, everybody's affected by it. Even if you don't necessarily believe, the energy of it is so incredibly powerful and magnetic. The room is small on purpose. Every seat within arm's reach of me, and these seats are going quickly. We have a lower early bird price than any of my other events, specifically targeted so that if you're interested in going to one of my events, this is the perfect time to go. I'm so excited to go to Austin, one of my favorite places in the world. Austin is such a creative, unique, vibrant city. It is the perfect place for us to manifest large sums of money into our life. September 18th through the 20th. You can find the link in the description at www.brianscottlive.com/Austin-2026. I cannot wait to see you there.